Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. Now today we have one of my former students. Ooh, look out now. What's she gonna say? Okay, she better be nice. No, I have invited this former student who is absolutely, she turned into a wonderful performer. So, hi Miss Maddie, how you doing?
Hi, Miss Vivian. I'm good. How are you?
I am fine, and her name is Maddie Booth. Remember, because you're gonna hear a lot from her in the future. So, Miss Maddie, um, tell me some things I don't know about you. Like, for instance, how did you know you were going to be a singer? Start way back when
Okay.
when maybe your mother and father discovered it. I don't know. Tell me.
All right. So the famous story goes in my family, I was about 3 and I was butt naked on the coffee table
Oh,
singing
Lord.
Veggie Tales. Oh, yeah. So the Veggie Tales theme song, and my mom was like, "Oh dear, how how did this child come up with this? One and two, she's so bad. She's such a terrible singer. Like, please make it stop."
Did she
So
say
it's
that? Really?
oh
Oh,
yeah. So come to find out years later, I'm pursuing it, and so that's how I got my start. The Veggie Tales theme song, and
so
then
what exactly is the Veggie Tales song? How's it go? Can you
I can
remember?
only remember it from the way I guess I sang it when I was a kid. My mom will sometimes
Okay,
still sing it
do
to
that.
me.
Sing it as you sang it as a kid. Just a little portion.
Veggie. All right, ready?
I'm ready, honey.
Veggie Tales, Veggie Tales, broccoli, celery, gotta be Veggie Tales.
Oh my God. Well, you know what? You talked about some good green vegetables in there. I mean, those are vegetables that I
Yummy.
eat. Okay, so then, did you sing like in church or around before you started studying formally? What happened with that?
Yeah, I did. I sang in church growing up. I did the church musicals. And then I was in choir in middle school and high school and tried out for the show choir in high school. So I did that for 4 years. And then I went to a college before Marymount and had a wonderful, my first vocal coach for about 6 months while I was there. And then she helped me prepare for Marymount. And then I found you, or maybe you found
Woo!
me.
I found you. I found you.
And the
Okay,
rest is history.
let's go back a bit. All right, you said you were in choir?
Yeah,
Okay,
I
so
was
in
in.
choir, go ahead.
Oh, just that I was in. Just the everyday elective in class. You could choose, a sports elective or different clubs, and I chose choir, and that's kind
Okay.
of how I got started.
So, Maddie, I ask each young person that comes on here, and in particular, my student, well, not in particular, but every young person that comes on, whether they're my student or not, where did the staring, or as some teachers like to say, the focusing, where did that come from? Who told you to do that?
Hmm. I think a lot of it came from nerves.
God, you're the
And
second person that said that. But no
and then it
one told
became
you to do that? Somebody had to tell you. How would you know to do something like that?
truthfully, I think it started with nerves. It started habitually, or it became habitually at least.
Mhm.
And then I remember one specific experience where I was in a solo competition at a show choir event in New Jersey. And one of the notes was, don't move your hand so much, don't move your head so much, like just focus at one point on a wall and sing and tell the story to that one point.
Okay, wait a minute, hold it. So this had nothing to do with choir. This is you as a solo singer.
It was
And
for a
they,
show choir competition.
okay, do you think they were telling you that because you were eventually, if you got chosen, going to be in a choir and everybody kind of had to look alike? Or, I mean, what do you think that was?
I don't think it had anything to do with being
The
in a choir,
choir?
because
What?
at some competitions they offered a solo competition as well, which was just a fun
Okay.
way to sing a song that you prepared. Um, and they told me that was the critique, so I redid it for them, and I was um, positively, it was positively reinforced that that was what was necessary to perform a song. Once I got the positive reinforcement for fixing my moving around, telling the story, if you will, I kind of stuck with it. I was like, okay, great. This is how you perform.
What you guys are doing really does go back. It just didn't start this year, last year. That has been going on for almost 10 to 20 years. Like I have said in other videos, I became aware that young people were doing that when someone asked me to sit in on auditions and help them with the singers. And that was the first time I seen that. And so as each singer came in and they did this, some of them didn't even move their arms. I leaned over and said, "What the hell are they doing?" She said, "What's the matter?" I said, "I mean, they're not they're not doing the lyrics. They're not telling the message of the song. They're just staring." She said, "Vivian, everyone you see today is going to come in here looking like that." I was like, "Oh my God." And then as the years went on, I saw, and then when, of course, when I got to the college, I said, "Oh my God, this is all over the place. This is unbelievable." Okay, so obviously it became ingrained in you, as it does with most people, because if you do it often enough, like with anything, it becomes really kind of normal for you, and this is the thing to do. Okay, so this is a question I always ask. When you were focusing, we'll use that word since that's what the teachers like to say. When you were focusing, what was in your mind?
Mm, that's a good question.
I know.
I honestly am blanking out. I think it's a difficult thing to um, come up with one succinct answer for, just because I don't remember thinking about anything. Maybe the words, maybe how long I was holding a note, or if I hit the pitch, in the center or not, like things like that. But definitely
So
not
the
telling the
message of
story.
this. Okay, that's what I was going to say. The message of the song never entered your mind because you were so, because that's almost an impossibility to be able to deliver a song and a message and just do this. That's almost impossible. All right. So now you function like this for about what, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years before you get to the college?
Uh, at least four, if not, a little longer. And truthfully, in addition to the two professors at this competition who instructed me to do this, truthfully, I do credit a lot of this staring or focusing to be nerves, and to be in a choir concert for your parents and the school or something. The lights are off, the lighting's on the stage, and you can't see. So I think probably a lot of the credit goes to myself just picking a spot and deciding, all right, I'm going to sing to this spot for the night.
Okay, I'll give you that. But had it not been emphasized by this teacher or this director who said focus on the wall or whatever he told you to do you think you would have done otherwise, or you would have just stayed with that until you met me? I mean, what would you have done? Because when he said focus on the wall, don't move your arms, don't do this, don't do that, did that kind of reinforce what you were already doing as a singer, that maybe this was the right way to sing and to do a
Yeah, oh,
song?
definitely, definitely.
Okay.
And oh, I had a thought about that. Oh, I think a lot of it too, I was not comfortable in my own body, like embodying my voice 100%, rather than, okay, like I know I sound okay on this song. I'm going to focus on I'm sounding better, or sounding the way I think I should sound, rather than focusing on the performance side, or the embodiment of the lyric or the story or my voice, realizing that it's
Okay.
not just from here.
What do you mean you were focusing on your body? What does that mean?
Well, I guess the lack of awareness, I guess, is how, I
Hmm. You mean
does
as
that
a
make
singer?
sense? Yeah. I
Okay.
knew, the instruments that are in your chest and your core, all of the anatomy side of things, but truthfully,
Hmm.
not having proper posture, You called me out on that with the backpack
Oh, we'll talk about that.
carriage.
We're gonna talk about that. Hmm.
Oh no. But yeah, not being aware of my posture, not feeling confident to stand on my 2 feet and stand still and still deliver a song or deliver a story.
And
Lots of, I
was
remember
go
the
ahead.
swaying. Do you remember that when I was swaying?
Honey, I remember everything about you guys. Everything. I don't forget nothing.
So all of that.
Okay, so and what about your height? Was that even a concern for you
Definitely.
until
My
you
whole
met
life,
me?
yes. But gratefully, I'm grateful that you let me own and
You
made me
gotta
trust.
own it, baby. Oh
I
my God.
know.
Okay, so this is the way you performed for 4 to 5 years. Okay, then you get to the college, and
Mhm.
then of course I choose the students that I want, and the staring is not a deal breaker because I know that I can deal with it because most people, everybody knows I have a mission statement, and it clearly says. I don't think there was a mission statement um, when you started studying with me, but after that I really had a mission statement because I had to let people understand that this is what I do. This is how my class, my studio is run. And I don't put that I'm a disciplinarian, but you get the gist of that mission statement, you know, in terms of diction and everything. And if you can't take it, this is not the class for you. I say that. I actually say that. If this is not for you, this is not the class for you. And I also talk about constructive criticism, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, so then now you come to me and I let you know immediately that that steering is not going to be tolerated, that I give you a few weeks to get over. I don't remember you taking that long. I don't think you got it in 2 or 3 weeks, but I don't think you went over into a second semester doing that. I think you got it in the first semester, right?
Yeah, barely, barely.
Barely. Okay. Now, when I explained it to you, what you had to do as a performer to connect to that audience, bring them into where you are as a performer and where you are in your mind's eye and painting pictures, what did you feel when you
Yeah,
first started doing it?
when I first started doing it, in like the rehearsal space with you for lessons, I was confused. I was like, this feels very weird. This is so not what I'm used to.
Hmm.
And then it was hard to really keep in my mind separate from, okay, I'm painting a picture versus I am just moving my head so that you don't like stop me and make me start over.
Hmm. Hmm.
Something like that. But of course, after lots of practice, I can now pick a place to paint the picture and then continue. But oh my
But now
gosh, that
you find it's easier. It's like really
right.
nothing to even think about because that's just what performance is.
And it's just what the story allots for. It's
Yeah.
just what is asked of you.
And
Yeah.
and don't you feel, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but one person said it freed them to
Yes.
just go ahead and live as a performer.
I just got the good little goosebumps.
Oh my
Definitely.
God! One of the other another person said the same thing, because when you know what that is, and it's really not hard. I think because I never had that issue. Maybe it's because I was coming from classical music, which was kind of rigid, but I never did that in classical music. I never did that. And my teacher never told me to do that. But then, we're talking about years ago. But there is a freedom when you are spelling out the message to the song. And you know what? You could do that song several times and do it differently. Practically every time you do it, it could be different. The thing that I was trying to impress upon you guys is that staring at a spot and just staying there the entire song, it doesn't give an audience anything to connect with. I mean,
Yeah.
they probably could say that you have a great voice, that you're pretty, but what else are you giving them? Because the whole thing, when a person gets on the stage, is to share their gift with the audience, to connect with the audience so that they can receive what you're trying to get. And I can't see that happening when you stare for a whole song, and God forbid if you don't move your arms.
Yeah,
I mean,
I totally understand what you're saying now because I understand what it means to perform versus to sound um, a certain way, or to sing the song well versus to perform the song well. And there's a huge difference. And I think um, if anyone watching can relate to me, I got nervous to trust you. I know you remember that, but I
I
got
do.
nervous to trust because there are certain professors who are still teaching
Oh,
to focus.
all
And
over the place, all over the place, even at
yeah,
the college.
exactly. And it's like, where do you draw the line of, okay, I need to take direction versus okay, I'm going to trust myself and perform how I interpret the song, how I feel the song. And there's a fine line. And two, with performing, like you said, performing the song, you could do it 7 times and do it differently all 7 times. Well, then I used to get confused, like, okay, but what if my blocking for this scene is point A, point B, point C? How am I going to do this differently? But it
Okay,
is
but when you
the,
say blocking for the scene, are you talking about within a musical?
yeah,
When
sorry,
say a
yes.
director has when a director has staged it? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, go
hmm
ahead.
Just that emotional journey that the freedom, like you said, allows you to have. It's like a new experience every time, so you can still reach point A, point B, point C within the framework of
Yes.
the show, but tell it, or feel it differently every night.
So, at which point did you start to trust me? Was it after you saw me perform, or what was the point that you started to trust
Hmm.
me?
Probably after your 54 Below show. That
Hmm.
I believe it was in November. I went with Rachel.
Yeah, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Yeah.
To your Lena Horne show. I remember that show, like it's burned into my memory in a good way.
Then I told you were going to get shows. You were going to get cast. I told you to embrace your height, um, to stand erect because you carry a backpack. For those of you watching, listen, there is a look that a backpack has, especially when you've been wearing a backpack a long time. It's a rounded look. And if you're a performer, you would want to correct that because it's not the greatest look when you're on stage unless you're playing an elderly person or someone who's incapacitated and can't stand up straight. You would want to stop that. So, what I do in my lessons, which you know, Maddie, is that I look at everything, the hands, everything. So I had to point that out to you because it was so obvious that and I think I didn't even, I said, I didn't even ask you. I said, you wear a backpack. Don't try to, I just said it. And you
Well,
said, yeah. Okay. So you trusted me and you did, you turned into a wonderful performer. Then you started to get shows.
this is
Talk
this
about it.
is yeah. I want to go back to the hand thing really fast. She's
Okay,
not
go ahead.
kidding. When she's talking about she notices everything, even during the warm-ups. Sometimes, probably within the first semester, honestly, within the first year, I probably did some things with a scale with my hand or my finger or something, and she would be like, "Well, cut that shit out." So I
Oh yeah.
did.
Yeah, and your hands were soft instead of strength. That's why I tell people let your dance influence your hands and your arms. The two work together. Because a teacher, if they're a good teacher, they're not going to allow you to have hands like this in dance class. They must be like this. They have to have energy. So, yeah, so you did what, about 2, 3 shows connected with the
um,
school?
Yeah, I did one MTA show, or like the student run, student directed show, and that was really fun. That was some really complex music. And then I did the Larry Fuller directed show, Songs from
Yes.
Across the Pond.
Hmm.
And you came to our rehearsal and helped some
Yes.
people out.
What I try to do is with my students or anybody that comes to me for coaching to tell them this is what you need. I keep saying this, I have said this 100 times. You do not have to be a great singer to be a great performer. Ultimately, you must be a great performer. And this is what a director said that I spoke with, that's on one of the videos. She said, that interests me more. You could take a great singer, if they're not doing anything for me, Doesn't interest me. I'm more interested in what are they going to do? How are they going to sell that piece to me? So you blossomed. You really did. You turned out to be just a wonderful performer, Maddie. You really did.
Thank you, Viv.
And then they all know I talk about this. They only get one cry, honey, one.
I remember mine.
Yeah, I was talking about you in another video because one time she was like looking in her bag for something, and I thought she was. I said, "You, I know. Are you crying?" And you said, "No, no, no, no. I'm not crying." But I saw a little water in her eyes, but nothing fell. Nothing fell.
Yeah, that's
Because
right. Nothing fell.
nothing fell. Yeah, nothing fell, but it was there. It was close. I'm so happy that you did this, and I think anybody
Me
watching,
too.
especially a lot of young people. So, you got any parting thoughts or words?
I guess I should have probably thought about that, huh?
No,
Um,
not really. Just say what's on your heart.
I am feeling kind of like emotional right now. I'm feeling very full circle.
Why?
Just because I'm just so grateful, and I mean, I think about it a lot, but I don't express it a lot. But I am very grateful to have had someone to. I mean, granted, it didn't come easy. It came with a lot of practice and a lot of like, oh fuck, I better get my shit together. But how am I going to do it? I'm so confused. But over time, and you did help. You did hold grace for me, and I'm just so grateful, truly. And I feel like I was meant to be your student. So I'm just
Oh.
expressing my gratitude to you, but also if you are um, thinking about the performance world, you must commit. Like you must really commit to this craft. I mean, it's just so important to cultivate your craft. And that would be my parting advice.
Okay, so beautifully, beautifully said. So, anyway, thank you, viewers, for tuning into my channel. This what a great conversation, because it's important for you guys, especially if you're young, to hear from other young people, and what their process is, what they have gone through. Everybody's got little things that they have to get over. There's not one person who sings, who is a performer, who is a superstar, whatever, that didn't in the beginning have little things that they had to work on. Everyone
Amen.
has little things. Mine, I used to sing into the wings. Like there was no audience out there, right? Hey, hey, yeah, hey. My manager said, what? Do you know you singing into the wings? I said, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. So everybody's got things that they have to get over. You're not singular in that respect, but like Maddie said, you work at your craft and you work at it daily to get better and better and better until it becomes second nature to you. And then you go in there to that audition and you wow them. And let's talk about that for 1 second. You're not going to get every audition that you go in for. You're not. It's about a type. Everything boils down to type. Too tall, too short, too heavy, too small, too thin. It's a type. But if you can pat yourself on the back at the end of your audition and said, you know what, I did a great job, that's worth gold. Gold. I got great diction, child. I can't be messing around. I got to hit that D. Gold. Anyway, take care, and I will see you the next time. Bye. Wave bye to them. Bye.
Bye.